See, you don't have your phone that makes the noise when the video turns on, so I don't know. So I'm really glad I stopped picking my nose right before you started the camera. Woo, that was a close one. Rob Ross with Toys R Us LLC. Salabama is behind the camera today. We've had a revolving crew of camera people lately. Um, it's funny because she really is the first person that started doing videos with me years ago when we started working here that we made up nicknames for. There was a certain weird crossover that happened at some point where our online followers for all of our online videos we did on Facebook were like reasonably functioning humans, and at a certain point that changed and people started acting crazy. So I'm not even sure where Alabama came from. One day I was doing my Forrest Gump accent and going Alabama, and then it just rolled out from there. So since then, all the different gals that have worked here have all had nicknames because of the overwhelming boundary problems that toy collectors seem to have with females in the toy community. That's not some sort of diatribe. It's just people ask me all the time, like, why I don't ever call the gals here by their real names. It's because of you. You're a weirdo. If you're watching this, you're a weirdo. Just teasing. Don't say something mean about me being fat, okay? Which the other day I was just telling Sal before the video, there's a AI video of a fat JD Vance breakdancing in a suit, and I love that so much. I want to recreate that and get like a suit and a tie and try to breakdance as well. I can't dance, which is a huge problem in trying to breakdance, but I think it would be hilarious. So we're talking about content video, and I wanted to show off this cool shirt. For those of you who bought G.I. Joes as a kid, you may remember the backs of the file cards, and it showed the different Joes that they had. This is a very similar to something like that. There were the little little cutouts from the cards that they would issue. So I love this shirt. My buddy John Kukovich from the Two Kooks podcast, him and his son Mikey, do custom figures in the 6-inch scale and the 4-inch scale, and they are some of the best dudes in the toy world. And so John gave me this gift probably about 2 years ago. At the time, I was too fat to put it on. I have now gotten less fat. Even though you people keep talking about me being chubby on my videos, I can now fit into the shirt mostly. So I'll say mostly. I won't show you the bottom of it. It's a little rough. It's one of those struggles. Got that dad bod going here. Today, we're just going to do a quick content video and talk about the way we've got toys set up at our store. You can find us at toysrross.com. Best way to get a hold of us, though, is Toys R Us LLC on Facebook. We sell all kinds of toys. We specialize in G.I. Joe, specifically vintage and modern G.I. Joe. But we have this wall. We have been known for the wall for a long time. Since we first put our Extra Joe figures up here on this wall in 2017, we've changed our system out. We've added more wall. We've made it bigger. We've made it smaller. About 5 years ago, we settled on 6. We run 6 deep. That is all we'll do. So if we have more than 6 of a figure, it goes in our extra bucket and sells it. Before Yojo got bought and sold, Yojo.com is a great resource for people that are trying to put Joes together. We put this up here. Yojo, when it got sold, several of the pieces of content got changed, but this is the way Yojo was before all that. So it is the correct depiction of the order of G.I. Joe and the way it was released. Our wall is set up by year. Starts with 1982 for the Era run, which for those of you who don't know, Era is ARAH. It stands for A Real American Hero. That is what is known as the vintage G.I. Joe line. Now, a lot of people are like, no, the ones from the 60s and 70s are vintage. At some point, yes, those were considered vintage, but they've moved more into the classic or maybe antique era now. But the 82 to 94 are the years that are considered vintage G.I. Joes. In the wall, same way it's set up on Yojo, they're released on here what's called general retail release, which means the carded figures. You can go to a store in 1982 and buy a breaker, and they're done in alphabetical order by general retail release, and then they go to vehicle drivers, which in 1982 there weren't a lot of vehicle drivers, but there was Hawk with the MMS, there was Clutch with the Ram. So you have this way, and then at the end of that is mailaways. Now, as you go further down the years, you'll start to notice that changes a little bit. It's still like, for example, in 87, you have the general retail release figure starting with Big Boa, and then you have the vehicle drivers over here starting with, oh gosh, I forgot his name. Drives a Persuader. Oh my gosh, there's the Mamba pilot. I'm going to be really mad that I can't remember his name right now. But it's only because it's early in my energy. I haven't had my energy drink yet. In 87, we started seeing more subsets, though. So right after the vehicle drivers, you get all the way down to Zanzibar. At the bottom, it starts with the Slaughter's Marauder subset. And then there's the Cobra Law subset. and then there's the Battle Force 2000 subset. And then each year after that, it's that same system. It goes from general retail released, vehicle drivers, and then you'll have your subsets, then you'll have your mailaways. And then there was another option. Oh, as we go further down the list, actually, you can see each year, so they're all up here in alphabetical order. There's a period of time where the Sonic Fighters and the Talking Battle Commanders and some of the other ones, they got switched around on Yojo. There's also some figures missing on Yojo now, so keep an eye out for that. We keep all the figures that we get in. And I want to use an example, for example, right here. In 1993, when they started doing, they started sort of re-releasing the same mold the same year, you have two different versions of Snowstorm that came out that year. We have this one in stock, but we don't have this one in stock. And so we just put the weapons that we have available for him. So if one comes in, I could just put him in the case. We use these squared off cases as part of our inventory. If you ever visited our store, you've definitely noticed the difference. The squared off cases mean that we do not have that figure complete, or like as in the case of an 86 Iceberg, when we have too many of them complete to put on a complete wall, so we just put the Iceberg in here with his gun. So he's a complete Iceberg, but he's in the incomplete section. Do we sell this stuff? Yes, I'll sell this stuff all the time. I have no problem with it. If it's on this wall, it's available for sale. For our own differentiation, we break it down over here. And the taller, skinnier clamshells, these are our figures that are ready to sell. Mostly that means they're complete. But like, for example, in the case of a Worms, we don't have a Worms antenna. You almost never find Worms antennas. We don't want to put reproduction antennas in there. So even without the antenna, the Worms is ready to sell. These are also done in year order, and then we take file cards to them as well. And then we complete other figures as we get them complete and move them in. For example, I sold a figure from 1985 yesterday. Don't remember who it was, so I need to replace something on the wall here. So do I have any 85 figures? Yes. I have this 85 Snake Eyes, but he's missing his sword. He's not ready to go up there yet. So most likely what I would do is move some figures around and then put up one of these. We've got 387 Techno Vipers. Somebody messaged me, desperately had to have these Techno Vipers. So I sent them the invoice for the Techno Vipers and then bugged them to pay me for 2 weeks, and they never paid me. So the Techno Vipers go back on the wall. That actually happens a lot here. Best way to get a hold of us if you want to buy something, which, by the way, we take cash in store. We've actually had people mail us an envelope of cash before, which is kind of a weird way to do business in this day and age, but we're trustworthy. So you could do cash in store. We take credit card in store. We take Cash App and Venmo and PayPal and Facebook Messenger Pay. We take cashier's check and money order. We do Western Union from a lot of people that live in other countries that want G.I. Joes. A lot of other places, because of some of the difficulty we have with PayPal, we will only take Western Union or a cashier's check. It isn't because we don't like you or don't trust you. It's just that if we've had a bad experience shipping to a particular country or with particular types of payments through PayPal, then we do the cashier's check or the money order. So yes, we will ship all over the world. We get the question all the time, do you ship to Brazil? And I get asked a ton about do you ship to Brazil? And at first I was like, why in the world do we get so many questions about Brazil? Why is there such a draw for G.I. Joe in Brazil? Let me know when I get close to 10 minutes, by the way. And then I was reminded, in 1989, G.I. Joe shipped a bunch of its factory stuff to Brazil and built a factory there to do the Slaughter's Marauders. To this day, the Slaughter's Marauders were only ever produced in Brazil. So there became a huge G.I. Joe fan following for the Slaughter's Marauders, and because the Slaughter's Marauders were there first, so it created a huge amount of interest. So to this day, there are a lot of G.I. Joe fans there. Same with the Philippines. There was a U.S. military base in the Philippines, and the PX there sold Joe. So thank you for this little walk down memory lane as we talk a little bit about G.I. Joe and the stuff we've got on it. If you got any questions or you're interested in buying anything, message us. We'll be happy to take care of you.